All right, welcome to my reflective portfolio assignment. Let's get right into it. So first, I want to talk about taking this class and how it felt. So taking this class, aside from the fact that it was a required course for the sports management degree, it was very important for me because my relationship with sport marketing started way back when. In grade 10 of high school, I had a teacher named Mr. Vandermolen, who was my business teacher. He first taught us the primary concepts involved with marketing, and I feel like I adapted these very well and even went on to win that year's class competition by applying these various aspects of business fundamentals, obviously at a very base level scale. But I went on to carrying this through high school over into grade 11, where I had a marketing specific class with the same teacher, Mr. Vandermolen. Of which we really had a deeper dive into these concepts, and it provided me with more information on just what goes on into the marketing process. And this year I won the marketing competition as well. And it was a very important year for me because my ideas and my team's ideas were actually used in a real business's plan to getting a few more dollars in the bank account, per se. This business was VR Wonderland, and they went on to implement some of our ideas into their business plan, and actually went on to improve. And it's nice to see those in work. During my grade 12 year, I had a very special opportunity for one of my classes, sports and entertainment marketing it was called, and this was taught by a teacher named Mr. Nickel. He worked with Brock University SPMA professors to align some of what we learned in class directly to what we would be learning in the sports management degree at Brock. So this was very important for me as it kind of solidified my ideas of wanting to be in this program. And not to mention, I also won the business competition that year. So clean sweep. This class really reflected my interest in sports marketing that I had in high school, which made this course not only very interesting to me, but also very important to my sports management career. Having the foundation that I formed in high school for me to build upon in university was very valuable for my development of my knowledge in sports marketing. Furthermore, being able to learn even more concepts to relate to what I had learned in the past and to further the depth of my knowledge was very good. Taking this course was a very good feeling for me, I would say, as well, but also very nerve-wracking, surprisingly. Since I had all this previous knowledge of sport marketing, I did enter with some confidence into this class, a little bit of a chip on my shoulder, but behind that, I had this little voice telling me, what if you don't actually know what you learned? What if you have forgotten it? What if you're not able to apply it? But this feeling, I kind of knew would always be there, so there's really no reason to pay much attention to it, no matter how much it nagged at me. But I feel like beyond all of that, this course is very important for all students, and knowing this information on marketing is vital for all sport managers, regardless of what their role in an organization truly is. And having this information as a student is key to getting ahead in the sports world. As Olan demonstrated in week 12, lecture, being good and passionate about the things you partake in can take you to every corner of the earth. It starts slow, but really knowing your stuff will pick up your pace tenfold. Overall, I'm pretty happy and satisfied after taking this course in the moment. And in a quick reflection upon my marks from the semester, I will say that I was really able to get into the concepts taught to us and really able to apply the learning in a practical sense. One unexpected benefit of my learning in this class was my ability to apply some of these concepts around planning into my everyday life and my everyday schedule. Weirdly, contingency planning was a very large part of that. As a student athlete, plans can shift, especially on the rowing team. If the weather isn't favorable, we have to entirely change what we're doing, from on the water to inside. And having these plans for an ever-shifting day or an ever-shifting conditions for a day, in order to make sure that I was really still getting my work done while still having part of a social life and my athletics in check and keeping everything balanced, was a benefit that came out of learning how to plan around conditions outside of my control. Strategies that helped me with applying my knowledge and expanding the depth of my memory of these concepts was for sure weekly reviews of the content. I used to, or I now set a, or yeah, I used to not do this, which I now realize as a mistake. I used to not check back in with my stuff, and that would really affect me when it came to exams. But now I would set aside time for myself every Wednesday afternoon before my workout, before I go home, something like that, to sit down, review the slides, fix my typos in my notes, and look up terms that I didn't fully understand, or look at the lecture slides for me to make sure that I didn't miss anything. This strategy will definitely be used in my upcoming classes. It really helped with my performance in this class, and I think it'll really help in my performances on other classes. And moreover, this semester, I tried to be much more social with my classmates. And sure, I only really did sit with one of them for the whole semester, but staying with touch, at least with other people in the class, helped me a lot as I was able to talk more about the subject material outside of class, which also helped my understanding of the content. I think that these strategies were most effective for me because of the independence and the connectivity that they allowed me to have. It allowed me to have the ability to review in any manner that I felt like when it came time. Either I would call a friend and talk about it before an assignment, just really get the brain moving, or I would sit in my room like I am right now, and I would review my notes. I would fix all my typos. And I would correct everything on my own and really be able to remember everything that I just learned, which definitely helped. Recalling my 2P93 Sport and Social Responsibility class, this strategy, these weekly reviews, were provided for us. So every Friday we would receive a page with what we learned, some jot notes and things like that. And I really think that helped me then, and applying it to these classes definitely helped me now. And I looked into it a little bit, and I found out that the human mind remembers most of what it was learned if review is done sooner after initially learning the subject. And the longer you wait, the less you will remember. And who am I to argue against biology? So I will definitely be using these strategies in my up-and-coming classes. Something major that I've learned about myself in this subject is that I'm much more passionate about the marketing side of sports than I thought and than I remember myself being. In learning throughout the semester, I found that this class had my attention peaked and interest extended past the normal amount that I found myself in my average classes. I had the desire to go forward with the learning and really try my hardest for everything that I had worked on in the class. And I was very interested in the topics of, especially the topics of fan motivation and the fan motivation factors. As it related to what I had learned in past classes, like my sports finance class, where we did simulations, where we had to take the demographics and choose ads that would best suit for our target audience. Furthermore, I learned that I had a larger capability for learning than I previously thought I had. I'm very bad with doubting myself. And in my first year, I performed really well academically and felt that I was able to keep it going. But my second year, first semester, I struggled a bit with finding my groove. And this class was very vital for me for finding that mentality again and teaching me how to work well and balance my life and ever-shifting parts of it. Like I mentioned, the contingency planning has really helped me in my academic and non-academic life. Another thing that I have learned about myself in this course, I would say, is that marketing, I think, is something that I should pursue. Previously, I thought that marketing was for the people behind the computers, the people crunching the numbers, the people who aren't really front and center. They don't really get out into the organization much. They kind of just have their one role and they stick to their one role. But I now realize that this is entirely wrong. This perception is entirely wrong. Now I'm understanding that marketing is a much bigger concept than what I previously had thought. And I think it would really suit my interests as a sport manager. being able to think creatively uh, in my job and try new things and try to innovate and change the game in strategic ways for the betterment of my organization sounds like it would really fit my preferred type of work, that being a more hands-on approach. I think the three biggest ways that I've grown as a result of this subject are one, as a student, first and foremost. I've upped the level of which that I'm able to perform in an academic setting, and I've also been able to raise my academic standards of what I expect out of myself. These standards have allowed me to realize that I am much smarter than I thought I was, which could be a little narcissistic, but I really feel like I have more than I thought I could give. And I feel like I just needed to believe that in order to start performing better. Furthermore, they've shown me just what works for me as study strategies and just what doesn't work for me. Such as the review periods, like I mentioned. Doing this instead of a cramming session a few days before finals turned relearning into reviewing. And that simple change, that one simple step, has saved me many hours of my time while improving my grades. So I'm putting in less hours but receiving more out of it because my quality is higher than my quantity. Another way that I've grown has been my maturity outside of class, I would say, especially after week 12's lecture. Week 12 really hit hard for me. I had the motivation and maturity to reconnect and recommit myself to my career. Ensuring my LinkedIn had everything about me, making sure that companies could reach out to me. I'm wide open. I'm marketing myself. And when it comes from marketing and networking and showing myself off to future employers, this has been a very large growth step. No matter how simple, I'm back on track to be more proactive about my career. And I've already reached out to a few organizations now looking for summer internships. Some that may not have them posted on websites and things like that. You never know what the answer is going to be until you look into it. So I've sent out things to Row Ontario, Row Canada, some places that are a little bit narrower in the sports sphere, but places that I would like to be. And thirdly, as a sport manager, I feel that my overall ability and effectiveness as a sports manager has greatly improved after taking this class, and I'm very grateful for this. I think my effectiveness has improved a lot because of the level of which that I can synthesize the knowledge in this class with other subjects like the finance and social responsibility classes that I had mentioned. And I believe that I have a much greater understanding of how everything works together in an organization now, especially with my class, the organizational theory and organizational behavior, 2B20 and 2B21. These classes, synthesized with the knowledge of this class, has really been able to let me see the bigger picture. And I believe that this really has made me a significantly better sports manager who is ready to take on a more major role in an organization. Placing the title of the most meaningful thing that I've learned in this class is very difficult because I believe that it could go to any one of the concepts, really, depending on how you look at them. The marketing mix, the promotion mix, as well as market segmentation, these are the absolute fundamentals of the concept and cannot be stressed enough. I will say that. But in my opinion, one of the most meaningful things that I have learned in this subject is the special features of the competitive sport product. And I really believe that this subject area in particular is very important because the amount of information that we learned in this unit, which has things on every aspect of marketing, really, through competitive sports. And I really think that in studying the competitive sports product, it acts as an almost guide to a marketing plan, and what the most important aspects are to focus on in a plan. For example, understanding the emotions that go into a marketing plan and knowing how these emotions can manipulate, manipulate and sway, I should say, the people that you are marketing to. This can be incorporated into a plan to create success for your team on any level, any scale, really. But to sum it up, I think this is one of the most important things that I've learned in this subject because of the widespreading nature of it and the ability to apply the other things that I've learned in sports management with this information to make sure I am not forgetting anything if I was to be making a marketing plan. The suggestion that I would give other students on the ways for them to get the most out of this subject is fairly simple, I would say, but also very important. Referencing something that Olin told us in week 12 and the last lecture of the course, talk more. Learn your classmates' names, stay in touch, and don't get out of touch. These connections that you make in university are so important for building your career and getting your networking started. This advice is something that I think all students really should know, regardless of program, regardless of studies, because it can be applied to any field of study and really counts in the long run, I would say. It helps you look out for the future you. And being able to have these connections, you can even leverage them for your quality of life in and outside of work in the future. Another suggestion that I would give people for this subject is to really listen and utilize the core fundamentals. Learn how to use the marketing mix. Learn how to use the promotion mix. Learn market segmentation. Learn how to plan. And more importantly, learn how to use these things in a real world situation and get really good at doing so. Skills pave your way through the sports world and really help you differentiate yourself from the crowd. These skills, although seemingly the basics, some could call them, are the foundations on which all other concepts are built. Ignoring these will really make all of your work kind of scrambled and incoherent and inefficient. But using these and you knowing how to use them, when to use them, boosts your efficiency and lets things stay organized in the chaos that is often found in sporting environments without you really having to try. And I think the ways that I've improved as a sport manager as a result of this subject are mainly in my ability to think ahead and really integrate the concepts that I have learned, not only from this subject in class, but also integrating things that I've learned in other classes, like sports finance and sport and social responsibility, those two being very big in my development, I would say. This skill of seeing things for their bigger picture has helped me improve the work that I have done in this class tenfold. It has let me formulate plans in a much clearer way that works for me, rather than following something I found online that may not suit my learning style or my working style. I think it has also improved my ability to be a team player, which is very, very beneficial for me. Understanding that marketing is so much larger than I thought and that it requires this whole team of people has helped me take what I know about teamwork from sports and really apply it to my work to improve it all around. Being a part of something bigger than any one person is where I spend most of my time as a student athlete, especially on a team like the rowing team, and has created this mentality based on teamwork and really becoming the best you can be, not only for yourself, but for the entire team around you and for the entire staff around you. And having a place where this mentality can stick with me and thrive throughout my life, and realizing that it is going to stick with me throughout my life, is something that has really motivated me to keep performing in both my classes, my career, and my sports. Moreover, I think it has improved my openness to work. Previously, I was very concentrated on working just where I wanted to work, and I would say that I'm going to admit that I still fell for this in sending out my applications for internships and my resume to places because I only sent them to rowing organizations instead of spreading and diversifying myself. But like I said, I was concentrated on working just where I wanted to work. This being only applying to things relevant to rowing, like I just said. But I feel that after seeing the options available for marketing in so many sports and so many out of sports things too, like seeing Olan go from basketball to IndyCar to Oktoberfest to golf, I realized that the skills that we are learning in this class are not mutually exclusive to just marketing. They can be used anywhere. They can be used outside of the sports sphere if I wanted to. Say I wanted to do something with grape and wine, or say somebody from Ribfest reached out to me and said, "Hey, I've seen your work in the sports sphere with, let's just say the River Lions, something like that. Do you think you could do some work for us marketing this event?" Being able to apply that to my to benefit me is something I've never had thought about before. And I really think that it will contribute greatly to my career in learning that. The things that I've learned that'll help me continue as a sport manager, like continue to grow, I would say are fairly simple, but still a culmination of my work this year. I think firstly and very importantly, something I've learned is that if I really dedicate myself to my work and immerse myself and take a personal passion for the subject that I'm working on, my quality of work skyrockets and my understanding skyrockets. This is very important for me to have learned, especially through my midterm video assignment, where I was able to get a 94, and I was very proud of that. This assignment was one of the first in a while that I've really been able to get really passionate and integrate myself into the assignment to make it a really good piece of work. And I strive to work just like this on my other assignments now. Everything to come in my sports management journey here at Brock. Another thing that I've learned to help my journey as a sports manager career also comes from week 12 on a more personal note. He told us a few key points to take forward after this class. And one of those major points was to talk more. Get out of your shell and put yourself out there. This really stuck with me because it's been a goal of mine for a while now to get out of my shell and market myself as a sports manager and really begin my career and really push myself into the sports sphere where I can get my name out there and really put what I'm learning up here, put it on some paper, put it into an organization and see if it works. Start trying things, start learning, start getting that practical understanding under my belt. And the story of Olan playing golf in Australia and by chance meeting the CEO of Basketball Australia made me realize that you never know what someone does or who someone is. And being able to have that information and like communicate the skill that you have and talk about all that you've done and market yourself not only as a professional but as an individual creates connections that are beyond sport. And these connections beyond sport are going to drive your career forward so greatly. Not only just your career, but your personal life as well. You're going to get opportunities that other people may not have just through knowing someone. Additionally, his advice to be a finisher was very prevalent in what I believe will help me to continue grow as a sport manager. Making sure that everything you do is followed through and done to the best of its ability to create a good reputation for yourself and your team. You want people to talk behind your back. You just want them to be talking positively about you. You want to make an impression on people that'll make them want to connect with you as well as you want to connect with them to stay in touch. I think my favorite aspect of this course had to be the structure of how we learned our content, as well as the availability of recorded and posted lectures. So first of all, the structure of the slides was very nice. I loved having the concept introduced, explained, and then explained with a practical situation and an example of how it's actually been used in a real life situation. This helped a lot to make the content tangible in a way and visible to see in things like advertisements in everyday life. And it forced me to think past what they were showing me in the advertisement and think about what they want me to feel, what their campaign is all about, what is their message, things like that. Furthermore, when I'm looking online or buying something online and seeing all of the different discounts of, hey, if you sign up via email, you'll get this. And if you sign up via phone, you'll get both discounts, something like that. has made me more aware of how companies are using our data points to give them marketing mix and promotion mix points of data, and how they use these to actually target somebody, and how they get to know you past the screen. It has made me more, the recorded lectures and lecture slides, I want to touch on that now, were very beneficial for me throughout the semester, especially in my weekly reviews that I started. I did this as a part of studying to make the class staying fresh in my mind, like I said, those weekly reviews, and the lectures being posted and the lecture videos being posted helped me really keep that in order, keep that going, keep that content fresh in my mind, and helped me pay more attention during lecture, because I was able to write down my notes before or after lecture and then synthesize it with information after, or synthesize it with what Olan said to us in class. And furthermore, it really helped me make sure that I understood everything that was said in lecture, and I was able to re-watch parts of the lectures that I did not understand. Another one of my favorite parts of this course is the energy that Olan brought to class. It was frustrating to see such a small turnout some days, but Olan was very energetic. He was kept the energy high, and I loved hearing his funny references and the new shoes every day. Learning he had 11 pairs of shoes in his office, enough for a whole semester practically, and 50 pairs of shoes at home, made me want to step up my game, and really honestly shocked me. I own 3 pairs of shoes and I thought that was too many. But it made me want to keep my energy level up and really stay passionate for what this is, because people eventually will come to me for advice on this topic, and I want to be able to give them the same environment that Olan was able to give to me. Furthermore, these past the content connections of the city shoes and the city references and everything like that really helped my learning, I would say, but it really relaxed the environment that we are in. And this helped more than I think I can stress, because as much as I try to play calm, cool, and collected when I'm sitting front row in lectures, I'm pretty nervous when I'm in class. And having this aspect middle of the week too on a Wednesday was really helpful for me to stay relaxed and kind of enjoy my time at school more than I thought I would be able to. If I could change any of the assessment items in this course, I think it would be my midterm Q&A. Despite getting a really good mark in this, I think that the assignment could need maybe a written portion or maybe a presentation to go along with it. To maybe work in some design aspects, some marketing design, how to apply what you're learning into a more physical platform. And I think that maybe including a small bit where students have to propose a marketing plan for a organization or something like that, just to show a bit more proof of concept for what we're learning and have it more tangible for us, could be beneficial. But I will say that I enjoyed all of the assessments, and I don't think I would have changed any of them. I loved them all. It was a very fun course. I think the best assessment item I did was also my midterm Q&A. Not only in the fact that I got a 94 on the assignment, but in the fact that I think I really did well in critically thinking about the subject material and making well-informed, like, bullet points that I was able to use as a form of script to guide my responses. So I wasn't just talking and hoping I hit everything. I had a more informed path that I could take. This strategy is definitely going to be my go-to for future recorded assignments and presentations. And in person, I'll be using cue cards as well as memorization, as I try to now. But I also feel like this is my best work because of the confidence I brought into it. I was very nervous because it had been a while since I had recorded myself for anything, and I was not familiar with how I would be in front of a camera. But after a few attempts, I took a little bit of breaks, took a deep breath, decided to just dive head first, without thinking really, and it worked. I was able to force myself to learn to talk in front of a camera and talk with confidence, and I'll be doing the same thing for this semester, for this assignment. Some points and diving headfirst. I think this is also what makes it my best work. I can put these seemingly senseless points of nerves behind me and really immerse myself into answering the questions on a more, not personal level, but a more informed level. I wasn't afraid to go off script because of this. I was really able to make much more use of the information in my memory than I thought I would be able to. And I think this says a lot about me. And a lot of what I can learn about myself. I think it says that I'm more of an outgoing, extroverted person than I thought I was, and that I think I should take more risks when it comes to speaking, because I may surprise myself in what I actually can do. But I also think it says that nerves can be good for me. I think I shouldn't pretend they don't exist, because they are beneficial, but I should embrace them. I should use them to fuel my performance rather than as a hindrance to my work. And I feel like this mentality has been boosted with the nature of the sport that I do. When you're sitting in the starting gates before a race, everything around you is so loud and so tense. Your ears are ringing, your heart rate is beating, you're so nervous. But the moment that light turns green and the moment you hear them tell you to go, you use those nerves to your advantage. You use that adrenaline, you use that to perform. And I think that is reflected into my work, and I am very proud of my ability to really apply and have this transference of ability into my academic career from my athletic career. I think my biggest achievement in this class is the overall average of my assignments, having a 80, 94, 88, and 92, and hopefully a good assignment on this mark too. Has been really nice for me to see. And I'm very proud of myself for being able to achieve these grades in this subject. I feel like these grades represent me finding my mojo again, finding my optimal strategies, my optimal study strategies, and really finding my stride to enjoy being in university again. I think if I was to start this subject from the beginning, I would do a few things differently, mainly in my vodcast assignment, and my note-taking, I would say. So starting with the latter, I want to talk about my note-taking. I think I could have started the technique that I wanted to try a little bit earlier. I really started it around like week 4, week 3. And I think that if I had done this earlier in the semester, I think I could have done it in other classes more effectively, because it would have been the new normal. It wouldn't be a thing that I had to then adapt to my other classes. It would have helped me get my footing a little bit faster, I think, but would also have an additional effect on my other classes' marks, which hopefully will go up as a result of implementing this. But as for my vodcast assignment, I really would have liked to change the immersion that I had in this assignment. I delayed myself in finding a group, which I'm not proud about, because it didn't let me get the full amount of time that I wanted to spend with this assignment to make it my best work. I didn't have the time to integrate a piece of myself into it. But it would have given me much more time to learn about the Toronto Blue Jays and the players that they were then signing, and allowed me to make more informed commentary on the direction that the team was taking. And additionally, it would have helped a lot to know more about baseball stats in order for me to provide more numbers-based results and numbers-based comments based off of what I was able to find. I think the area that I want to learn more about mostly is in the global size of marketing and global organizations, and how they're able to use marketing to their advantage with such a massive sphere of influence. I want to learn more about this because of my desired work, and my desire to work at an organizational body like international world rowing or the Olympics. And I think learning about this part of the marketing strategy would help my curiosity and really help me know what I need to get exceptionally good at during my career and how to apply it into that global setting so that I can really put myself forward. Based on my experiences in this unit, I think I would set a goal of staying on top of my work and staying passionate about it while aiming for an average of above 85%. And I plan to reach this goal through several measures. First of all, I want to implement that note-taking strategy in all of my classes, regardless of what they are. By having weekly review periods where I can fix all of my typos and synthesize my notes with other sources and lecture material, for me to further the extent of my knowledge so I can prepare myself for assignments and tests that much better. And I also want to do this through lecture participation and attention. Now that I've realized that I'm smarter and can give more than I thought, and that I'm more confident in my knowledge, I feel like pushing myself to speak more and take more risks could be very beneficial for my career and my development as a student. In conclusion, I really enjoyed this semester, and I really enjoyed this class. I think everything that I've learned through this class will be very vital in my career and very applicable to anything I choose to do now that I'm going to be going off into the sports world soon. I also think that this class has helped me really narrow down what I want to do. I know I want to do event managing. That's one of my options, or one of my professional desires. But I also realized that I think marketing might be a good path for me to take as a sport manager. So here's to future development. Thank you for watching.